more profit in more places using some sites that you and I have talked about a lot, but a lot of people watching might not have seen this before. So, and there's a lot of new things that have happened since the last time we talked. So we need to cover those too.
That sounds awesome. That's the most amazing thing to ever come out of Canada.
All right. So how's your summer been, Shawn? I haven't talked to you for months.
Hot. It's hot in America. I don't know if you heard about that.
Well, in the West Coast, I heard there was a heat wave. I know we've had a heat wave here for the last 2 weeks or so. It's been, I'll give it to you in Fahrenheit. It's been 90 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit every day for like 2 weeks straight.
I know. You should come to Florida because it's the coolest place in North America, apparently.
I believe it.
Ridiculous.
Right now, the room that I'm in right now, it's 75 Fahrenheit, which is actually not that bad. But it has been scorching hot for like 2 weeks straight, and there is just no hiding from the heat because it's, when it's that hot for that long, the heat gets everywhere. And we do not have powerful air conditioning in our house because it normally doesn't get that super hot. All right.
It is crazy.
So, Shawn, we're here today. We're going to talk about print on demand.
We are?
Tell me about whom do you think is here and what do you think they would like to know about print on demand today?
I'm here, and I think everybody's just going to follow along with everything that we want.
All right. Before we get started, this is recorded for the people who are registered, correct? And the people who are not registered.
Well, if you got to go or whatever, listen in. If you're working or whatever's going on, it's probably not going to be a whole lot you got to watch. And if you do, we're going to email everybody the replay probably by the morning. I mean, we'll try to do it tonight, but it takes a long time to process.
Okay. I want to make sure everybody that's watching on the Zoom, and there's people watching on Facebook as well. So I can't see the Facebook comments, but I can see the Zoom ones. So if you are on the Zoom live, I want to make sure that everybody can communicate here. So there's a little box at the bottom of Zoom. It says chat, and it has a bubble on it. So click on that, and then click on all panelists and attendees under the drop-down where it says to, and just say hello or something so we know you guys can ask questions because this is a live broadcast, and I want real questions here. So I can see there's Brian, Bud, Catherine, Chris, Dave, Dennis, Jay, Jennifer, Jonathan, Lance, Nancy, Nikki, Tara, Vlad, and Walter. They're all watching live right now. And I can see that you're live. So I know you're there. But say something in here. Will a replay be available, says Bud Patel. Yes. If you're registered for the Zoom, the replay will be available. We just mentioned that. If you're just watching through Facebook, Shawn, are we going to put this out to Facebook as well?
Yeah, I'm sharing it right now to Facebook. So.
Okay. Do I need to share something in my group?
Yeah, I'll send you the link as soon as it's posted.
Okay. There's a link coming. We're going to post it. Sorry about this. Is kind of like the setup for one of these calls. Lots of different ways to make a live call, and this is one of them.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, it just takes a minute for Zoom to share it out to Facebook. But
so, Shawn, for people who don't know you, or for people that don't know me and they're watching this for the first time, let's give them a quick intro about ourselves. I'm gonna say that you're from Florida. You live near the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah, I live near Tampa.
And you're married. You have a beautiful daughter.
Nobody cares about that stuff, Jacob. Okay.
I care about this stuff. This personal stuff, Shawn. You are an internet expert in many areas, including, but not limited to, Amazon, fulfilled by Amazon, FBA.
Yeah, we're an FBA seller. We sell on merch by Amazon. We sell on lots of different print-on-demand sites. We also create, designs for clients. Basically, when we have extra stuff, we have a whole team of designers. So, we create stuff, and when we have way more than we can handle, which happens, I want to keep everybody working, obviously. So we do sell those sometimes, but there's only a handful a month. We're not like.
And you've got a Facebook group for print on demand.
Right. So yeah, we'll share the link in there for that in a moment. And we have a group for print on demand. We have and we create all kinds of software. So if you're an Amazon FBA seller or do print on demand, we have mostly for Amazon sellers, but we have we have a whole slew of different tools for Amazon sellers that we've created and are really unique from other. What else is out there? We really don't copy things. So.
And this is not the first time you and I have had a webinar. In fact, you and I had a series that went on for how many weeks do you think? 15, 16, 17 weeks straight?
Months. So you can also create an account if you don't already have one on my website, ShawnMayo.com. And we have a whole, almost a course on print on demand because we, as we said, did well over a dozen very long webinars, usually over an hour on all the main print on demand, sites that are available out there. So definitely take a look at that if you want to see more in depth, really the inner workings of a lot of the different print on demand, options that are out there, more than what we're going to talk about tonight.
So that's a good point. With print on demand, there is a certain level of breadth. So that's talking about different print on demand platforms and different options, different technologies, different ways that you can approach print on demand. And then there's depth. And that is going into each individual print on demand platform and really exploiting sort of the benefits and the details that can help you to sell more on each of those print on demand platforms. So if you've ever heard of me before, or if you've seen any of the videos with Shawn and I, you probably have heard about the book, Merch in the World of Print on Demand. I talk about it quite a bit. The reason why I talk about it so much is I put in almost all of the information that I have about print on demand into this book, and I keep updating it. So I just held up the printed version, which is available on Amazon.com, but there's also a Gumroad version, which is available, and there should be a link to it here with Shawn. And the Gumroad version gives you free updates for life, and it also gives you bonus files that are included with it. And the reason I mention the updates is because it's already in its 7th version. So it's been updated 7 times right now. Or sorry, 6 times. And the next one coming up is the 7th version. So the current version on Gumroad is 365 pages long. It covers almost around 50 print-on-demand platforms, and it goes into depth on at least 45 of those. And then there's also a lot of integrations. So, you've got your copy there too. So Shawn's got a copy of the book, Merch in the World of Print on Demand. I've got a copy, and people who pre-ordered are still getting their copies. So those have been mailed out. I sent out another 20 or 25 last night. There's been a huge delay with CreateSpace in getting them out, but they're on their way and they're still coming. So if you haven't got yours and you are owed one, it's coming. So Shawn, when we did our series, when we went through each of these print on demand platforms, I wrote down this board. I wrote this out more than a year ago. Do you remember this? And so for people who are tuning in for the first time, if you're not familiar with the world of print on demand, I like to use this board as a reference. And keep in mind, this is more than a year old, but it's got some options for you. So if you're watching this, you've probably heard about Merch by Amazon. Merch by Amazon allows you to upload your designs into Amazon.com. It's got 2 or 3 big main benefits. One benefit is all the listings go on Amazon.com, and they go there with Prime, their Prime listings. So if somebody selects Prime, it's going to separate everything else, and it's going to show you those listings. Another big benefit is they handle customer returns, and they handle customer service for you. So if somebody orders a shirt from Amazon, and you've listed it on Amazon through Merch by Amazon, which is a program that Amazon runs, then if the buyer has any issues with the shirt, if they want to return it, or if they have any questions about it, they can call Amazon. Amazon's the seller of record. Those listings have Prime shipping. They're made in one of 2 factories in the US. One's in Texas, one's in Pennsylvania. And they're shipped across America, anywhere that the US Postal Service delivers. So that includes places like Puerto Rico. That includes APO addresses. It includes Army bases, anywhere in America. They do not ship outside of America. And there's some other differences between Merch by Amazon and most other print-on-demand platforms. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Shawn, before I get into this, did people send you any questions ahead of time or any questions that people have that I should answer right off the bat before we get started?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So I briefly talked about Merch by Amazon. Some of the other print-on-demand platforms, I'm just going to mention a whole bunch of them, okay? So there's, in addition to Merch by Amazon, which allows you to list on Amazon.com, if you want to list on Amazon.com and you're not in Merch by Amazon, or you're tiered maxed, meaning you've reached the number of listings you can put on, the maximum number of listings you can put on Merch by Amazon, you can still sell print-on-demand on Amazon.com. You can do that through Seller Central. So there's a number of different ways to access Amazon connected to print on demand and sell them on Amazon Seller Central. I wrote a few down here, so I'm going to read them off to you. If I can find my notes. All right, so you can sell on Amazon through Printful. So Printful has a direct integration to Amazon Seller Central. So that means any of the items that Printful offers, you can list those on Amazon.com through Amazon Seller Central. What this means is not only can you list them on Amazon.com, but you can also list them on the other Amazon marketplaces because they're also connected through this direct integration with Printful. So that would include Amazon.ca, Amazon.mx, so that gives you Canada, Mexico, and the US, because Amazon.com as well. It also gives you access to the European Amazon marketplaces. So if you want to sell in the UK right now, and you want to sell in Germany, or if you want to sell in France, or if you want to sell in any of the Amazon marketplaces worldwide, you can access those through the Printful direct integration. There's actually two ways to sell on Amazon.com through Seller Central through Printful. One is the direct integration, and then another is through Printful to Shopify to Amazon. And it's more of an indirect connection, but it gives you all the benefits that you get with integrating through Shopify. That being said, if you're connecting to Amazon through Shopify, there's a Shopify Amazon connection, which allows you to list on Amazon through Seller Central. Again, you can list through multiple marketplaces on Amazon, not just Amazon.com. And there are print-on-demand platforms that allow you to connect through Shopify. I'm going to list some of them, but not all of them. Printful, which we just mentioned, Custom Cat. Custom Cat has a monthly charge, but their per unit costs are low. So if you're making more than about one sale per day, it's going to pay for itself, and you'll be way ahead of the game if you use Custom Cat versus Printful price-wise. As long as you're selling one per day on average. That's about $30 per month, because the cost is about $30 a month with Custom Cat. There's also T-Launch. T-Launch has a direct connection to Amazon Seller Central, and they have a connection to Shopify, so you can connect T-Launch to Shopify to Amazon Seller Central. You can also connect T-Zilly Plus. So you may or may not be familiar with T-Zilly. T-Zilly is a marketplace. You can list your print-on-demand things there, and people can buy them through T-Zilly. But T-Zilly Plus is sort of the back end, and that allows you to connect to marketplaces, for example, Shopify. And then from Shopify, anything that's in your Shopify store, if it's in apparel, you can push that through to Amazon Seller Central. So T-Zilly Plus, you can get shirts down around the price point of around $6 per shirt. So if you compare that to something that might cost you $8 or $9 or $10 or $12 on other print-on-demand platforms, it's actually really quite price efficient. And T-Zilly Plus prints both in North America and in Europe. So if you have a lot of European buyers, T-Zilly Plus is a great option if you're wanting to sell on the Amazon marketplaces in Europe. So the UK, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, those marketplaces. There's also Gear Launch. So Gear Launch has a direct connection to Amazon Seller Central. Printify has a connection which you can go through Shopify into Amazon Seller Central as well. So those are just some of the back-end print-on-demand pods that you can connect to Amazon if you want to sell on the Amazon marketplace, but you either are waiting to get accepted in Merch by Amazon, or you're tier maxed, or if you want to offer worldwide shipping. So even if you have lots of slots available in Merch by Amazon, you may want to expand the places that you can ship to. You might also want to reduce the amount of shipping time. Of course, Merch by Amazon doesn't currently ship outside of the United States, so any shipping time outside of the US will be faster through Amazon Seller Central. But even within the US, some of these back-end pods, like Custom Cat, for example, manufacture time is very low. It's very short. So they guarantee manufacturing time between 24 to 48 hours. So that means if you make an order on Amazon.com, you can expect it to have shipped from Custom Cat within 24 to 48 hours. you compare that to Merch by Amazon, I know Merch by Amazon has a goal to lower that time frame that it takes between the click and the production before they ship it. Again, Amazon has Prime, which is fantastic once it's shipped, but sometimes it can take 3-4 days for Merch by Amazon to make the product. And during times of heavy volume, it can sometimes take longer. So if you're looking for alternatives in that sense, even if you're shipping in the US, sometimes it can make sense to sell on Amazon through Seller Central. Another big benefit, Shawn, and you would know this as well, is the product selection. So if you look at Merch by Amazon right now, Merch by Amazon gives you access to a t-shirt, premium t-shirt, hoodies, sweatshirts, long sleeve t-shirts, and now for some sellers, pop sockets. And they've been talking about cell phone cases for like more than 2 years. They were talking about it back in 2015. In their messages, you know, the messages on the dashboard, they said they were going to bring out cell phone cases back in 2015. But I haven't seen them on my account. So do you have cell phone cases on your account, Shawn?
No.
On Merch by Amazon? Not yet, right?
No, nobody has that.
It sounds like that's one of their goals, though.
Right. So Bud had asked if all those, I mean, obviously it's yes, but all of these options is via fulfilled by merchant.
They are. So what happens is, I'm going to go through the logistics because sometimes it can be confusing, right? So in order to list on Amazon.com through Seller Central, you need to have an account with Amazon. And if you're selling Amazon FBA, which is fulfilled by Amazon, you're going to have that set up through Amazon Seller Central. But if you don't have FBA, you can still have an account with Amazon, even if you're not doing fulfilled by Amazon. That's fulfilled by merchant, right? So fulfilled by merchant means somebody makes an order on Amazon and then it's fulfilled external to Amazon. So you do the fulfillment. In this case, here's what the process looks like. The customer goes to Amazon.com. They see, let's say, a mug, right? Most of these print-on-demand places have mugs. So they go on Amazon, they buy the mug. The order then goes from Amazon and it's connected to whatever print-on-demand platform you have. So let's say if you're connected through Shopify, just as an example, the order is going to go from Amazon.com to Shopify. The Shopify is going to receive that order and it's going to say, oh my goodness, we got an order for a mug. Let's do it, make it happen, right? And if you don't have anything connected, it's basically going to send you an email and you've got to fulfill that mug. But if you have your Shopify connected to a print-on-demand service like Printful or Gearbubble, Shopify, Custom Cat, T-Launch, T-Zilly Plus, Gearlaunch, Printify, any of those print-on-demand platforms, if they're connected to your Shopify account, then when Shopify receives the order from Amazon, then it just directs that order through directly to the print-on-demand fulfillment place. And each product will have its own path. So let's say mugs you might have done with, let's say, Printful. But let's say you wanted to have caps, like hats with embroidery on them, and maybe those are done through Custom Cat. You can connect Printful and Custom Cat both to Shopify and connect them both to Amazon through Seller Central. So when somebody buys a hat, the order goes from Amazon to Shopify to Custom Cat, and when they buy the mug, it goes from Amazon to Shopify to Printful. So I hope that makes sense. It's a fully automated process. So if somebody makes an order on Amazon, you don't have to like check a box or wait for an email. You don't have to like type in an email address or a physical address. It's not like drop shipping where you have to like connect the dots and like match each order to, delivery through some third-party warehouse. It's fully integrated and it's fully automated. So once you have the listing up on Amazon.com, the entire process is seamless and it works automatically for all of those print-on-demand platforms that I just mentioned. So that's something which I think is a huge opportunity, and the number of connections that are connecting to Amazon right now is increasing. If we go back about a year ago, there was only 2 or 3 of them, maybe 4. If you go back 2 years ago, it was basically non-existent. There wasn't really any. The actual Shopify to Amazon app it's about 18 months old, something like that. But these direct connections, like from Printful direct to Amazon, it's existed for longer than that. But it's only more recently, like in the last year or so, that they've allowed you to have GTIN exemptions. So that's a question that comes up for anybody who's sold on Amazon before. Normally you need a UPC or you need some kind of GTIN. GTINs is, I forget what GTIN stands for just off the top of my head, but I think it's the Global Trade Identification Number. Is that right, Shawn? It's a trivia question, guys. If you know what GTIN stands for, you can type it in the comments, but I'm pretty sure it's something like the Global Trade Identification Number, something like that. And there's lots of different types of GTIN numbers. One of them can be a UPC, So universal product code is a type of GTIN. There's also
trade item number.
Okay, global trade item number.
Yeah.
So an ISBN, for example, on books, that is also a form of GTIN. And there's a few other forms of GTIN. But for the most part, when you're selling products on Amazon, you're usually looking at UPCs. So if you don't want to have UPCs for every item and every variation of every item that you're putting from print on demand on Amazon through Seller Central, then you're going to need to apply for what's called a GTIN exemption. And a GTIN exemption is per brand. So for each brand that you want to have on Amazon, you can get a GTIN exemption. The best way to get a GTIN exemption is if you have a brand registered with Amazon, but if you don't have one registered, you can basically send Amazon a letter. There's a very good, thorough, easy to follow explanation of how to get a GTIN exemption if you're using Printful, and Printful is free to use. So there's no cost to join or use Printful. You can sign up in a Printful account within about 5 minutes or so. Once you have that, you can click on Amazon. You can look at the integration from Printful to Amazon, and part of that, there's a very thorough explanation of how to do a GTIN exemption by letter to Amazon.com. Now, once you get or receive a GTIN exemption from Amazon, that is for your brand. You can use that GTIN exemption on any of the pods, not just Printful. It's not just for the one pod that you have. So once you have a GTIN exemption, you can use it across any of the print-on-demand platforms, and you can basically load up products as long as they're within the brand that you have the exemption for on Amazon. The other thing is you need to use the GTIN exemption within 120 days of getting it from Amazon. If you don't use it, it expires. If you do use it, I'm not sure if it expires or you have to reapply for it, but you can continuously reapply for a GTIN exemption. I've not heard of people getting one and then not getting one. And for people that have applied correctly, I've never heard of anybody not getting the GTIN exemption. So it is a bit of extra paperwork or legwork, but it seems to be very effective. And once it's set up, you can send in lots of products to the brand that you've got the exemption for GTIN on Amazon.com or any of the Amazon marketplaces for that matter. And you do have to get a GTIN exemption for each marketplace with Amazon. So you have to get one for Amazon.ca, one for Amazon.com. It's not like one exemption covers every platform. You have to get it for each marketplace. All right, Shawn, I think we've covered Amazon. Do you think it's fair to say that we've covered it enough for this call?
Yeah. And one thing, if you're confused on the GTIN, when we send out the replay, I've actually got a great video on creating GTIN that makes it super simple. So we'll send out the link to that as well. And all the links for anything that we talked about tonight. You know,
yeah.
Looking all that stuff up and writing it down. We'll send you a link to the replay and everything we talked about tonight.
It's also fair to say, with the exception of some of the things we're going to talk about at the end, that everything we're talking about is covered in this book, Merch in the World of Print on Demand. This book on Gumroad has been purchased by over 1,800 people, and on Amazon, there's been hundreds sold on Amazon.com.ca and other Amazon marketplaces as well. So there are more than 2,000 people that have a copy or access to the book already. And the feedback is, that I've heard anyways, is pretty solid. For people that have not purchased the book, sometimes the feedback's not as good. And I asked those people, do you have the book? Have you read the book? And they're like, no, I just heard it was crap. And I'm like, okay, well, for the people that have bought the book or have read the book, the feedback's fairly good. And for the people who have not read the book, the feedback is mixed, which is kind of weird because they've never seen or read the book. So that's what I've heard. What if Shawn, you know lots of people that have this book. You have the book yourself. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, well, let me talk about something that you had mentioned before. If you buy the book on Gumroad, there's some awesome stuff. Actually, one thing that or some of the stuff we're still using, which is the bonuses. And it's really, there's really some amazing bonuses, which I think is worth way more than the value of the book. And that
some of them actually, they included for free, right? So I included all the bonus files for free, but some of the bonus files individually, other people are charging more than the cost of the book for those individual bonuses, right?
Definitely, I think they're well worth it. I mean, one is an awesome spreadsheet template for tracking your sales. Not really your sales, but wherever you create stuff. So if you have it on, on Merch by Amazon, and then all the other places, you can track where you've uploaded that to. A lot of easy cutting and pasting and all that. It made it super simple for us when we were first starting to grow beyond merch by Amazon and into the other platforms. Another thing is, if like me, you really don't know what, I have somebody who researches all the stuff for me, but I'm sure most of you don't have, a whole team of people, for your print on demand designs. So, there's, I don't know how many there is, 1,000, 2,000, different, what is it, like jobs or careers that you could.
Yeah, so there's a number of different bonus files. One of them has niches available to you. So this is something that people were really asking for around the time that the book first came out. And that was items that they could scale. So if you had one design that would go across many variations on it, I gave you access to more than 1,500 professions. So, doctors, teachers, lawyers, etc. Everything to like boat operators, captains, dentists, like all kinds of different professions that people may not think of off the top of their head. There's more than 1,500 professions in one of the bonuses that's included for free. There's also another one with dates. And since the book has come out, people have put out different resources and tools. Some of them are for free. Some of them are for sale. But those have many types of holidays and special dates and specialty dates, months and things like that. So for example, right now I'm wearing a hot dog man shirt. I can show you the shirt. This is a Merch by Amazon shirt, by the way. So it's great print quality. It's DTG. And this hot dog man shirt was really popular around 4th of July because every year, 4th of July, they have the annual hot dog eating contest, right? In the New York area. So that's a very popular event. And around that time, a lot of people bought the shirt. But if you don't know about events or special dates like that, it's tough to make designs for them. So another part of one of the bonus files is more than 1,500 special dates. So between those two, those are just two of the bonus files. There's more than 3,000 different variations on niches that you can make shirts for. So even if you had one design that would carry across different dates and across different professions, even if you did one date or one profession per shirt, you can make like 3,000 shirts just based off of those two niche lists. The spreadsheet that Shawn was talking about as well, it includes 10 different print-on-demand platforms and all of the categories, the Coney Island, yeah, so the Coney Island hot dog eating contest. That's Dennis had mentioned that. Thanks, Dennis. So the spreadsheet covers 10 different print-on-demand platforms. It's included as well for free with the Gumroad version of the book. I'm going to put a link to it here in the chat because then people are asking about it. So I'm just going to put the link in here. It's kind of weird doing a live one and also typing at the same time. So there's also, in addition to the 10 different print-on-demand platforms, it tracks all kinds of things. So it tracks like what's your file name, what's the title, what's the description, what is the first and second slots that you have in Merch by Amazon, for example, what's the description that you have for it, as well as the price. There's an area for notes. There's an area for whether it's sold. Did it sell? Yes or no? Was it modified? And you can put notes on the modifications. That's just for one of the sheets within the spreadsheet. And there's a sheet for each print-on-demand platform. And all of the categories, like all of the columns, are arranged for all of the things that are specific to that pod. So for example, the columns for Redbubble are different than the ones for Merch by Amazon. Those are different than the ones for Zazzle. They're different for Cafe Press. They're different for Spreadshirt. I've got 10 different print-on-demand platforms, each with all the specific categories in the columns, which is included for free with the Gumroad version of the book Merch and the World of Print-on-Demand. There are other bonus files as well. So I've got a list. We talked about Printful a little while ago, earlier in the call. And I have included with the book for free a list of over 3,000 items and combinations of items that you can order through Printful. So if you wanted to look up a particular size of a shirt, you can go to that spreadsheet. You can see what's available and what isn't. So if you have a customer that's asking you, or if you're doing like a special deal with a business and they want to ask something specific, you just open up that Printful spreadsheet. You can see if it's available on Printful or not. If it is, you can either set up the listing for them and order the shirts directly, because you can do a direct order through Printful if you want. Or if you wanted to put up a listing for local merch or what people call business to business or that kind of thing, you can set that up on Amazon.com. And you can do it beyond just Merch by Amazon. So Merch by Amazon is fantastic for those 6 items that they offer and within the size range. If you have sizes, like if you wanted a 4 times or 5 times XL shirt, Not currently available through Merch by Amazon, but it is available on many of the print-on-demand platforms that you can connect to Amazon. So you get all that organic traffic from Amazon, but you also get, excuse me, you also get access to more products, more sizes, higher profit, faster manufacturing time. You get access to pay-per-click advertising. So if you want to make your listing on Amazon.com, on the first page of Amazon.com, you can just pay money into pay-per-click advertising. You can get it featured on the front page of Amazon.com. So those are some of the benefits to having listings on Amazon.com through Seller Central versus just Merch by Amazon. And in no way am I in any way against Merch by Amazon. I use it. I love it. I enjoy Merch by Amazon. But there are some huge benefits to going beyond Merch by Amazon and looking at some of the other print-on-demand solutions. Jacob, email me, let's hang out. We could use your help in Shawn's chow. Thanks, guys. Okay, well, Walter, send us messages. You can find me on Facebook Messenger. So, Shawn, what should we cover next? There's so many different print-on-demand solutions out here, and they're all quite different, right?
Right. Well, if you're only selling, I think the big question that I get a lot is, if you're only selling on print, Merch by Amazon right now, which according to the poll, most, at least 73% of the people are. Okay. That are on right now. So yeah, you're selling anywhere else. Like, where is the first place? Because there's 40 some available. You're probably selling on most of them. Selling quite a few of them. But most people are not going to go from Merch by Amazon and then list all those same products on 10 different ones, or so 40 or whatever it is. It's a good question. So that came up quite a bit after we were doing a bunch of versions of the book, and I kept coming out with new editions. So I tried to make improvements based on the feedback I got from people. So if you look in the index of the book, right in the table of contents in the book, I'm going to read this out to you so you can kind of get this without even getting the book, but you'll know it already. I ordered the order of the print-on-demand platforms that are covered in Chapter 4 are arranged in a specific order. The order is the print-on-demand platforms with greatest to lowest monthly traffic based on Alexa website tracking scores. So Amazon itself tracks the website traffic to each of these different sites. And you can go on to Amazon's own Alexa website info site, and you can type in any of the print-on-demand platforms. It'll tell you an estimated number which represents the rank of that website versus other websites worldwide. And then they give you the rank worldwide and also just in the top countries that it ranks in. So for example, most of these are top ranked in the United States. But here's the most traffic to the least traffic for the print-on-demand platforms. So number 1 is Amazon. That's not hard to guess that one. Number 2 is Etsy. So out of the print-on-demands that are covered in that chapter, Etsy has the most highest traffic after Amazon. Then Redbubble, then Zazzle. Teespring comes after Zazzle. Society6. I don't know why, but most people don't talk about Society6 very often. It's in the top 6. It's number 6 out of 6. But Fine Art America was number 7. Custom Ink would be number 8. Another one that people just don't talk about Custom Ink very much at all. Spreadshirt. Spreadshirt is very popular in Europe, and it's also making inroads into the US, so it's in the top 10. Cafe Press, TeePublic, Printful, Designed by Humans, Threadless, Teachip, Sunfrog, Represent, Gearbubble, Teazilly, and then after Teazilly, it gets into some more vague print-on-demand sites. So $6 Shirts, Viral Style, Rajon, Bonfire, Printora, Customized Girl, Custom Cat, Motif, Gear Launch, T-Launch, Screened, Arts Ad, Tscape, Inktail, Dazinga, Jack of All Trades, and Booster. So those are the pods that are covered in Chapter 4 of the book, Merch in the World of Print on Demand. And I just read them to you in the order of highest to lowest traffic. So what I would recommend personally, if somebody is only using Merch by Amazon right now, and they wanted to add just one other pod, probably the easiest one to add that's still going to have a huge amount of traffic is Redbubble. Redbubble is not necessarily going to make you the same number of sales as Etsy, because Etsy would be sort of the next one I would recommend. But in terms of ease of use to set up and the ease of uploading and the ease of integrating it, it can't be beat.
it takes like less than a minute to create a Redbubble account. And then you can just upload one design. And for every one design you upload, you're getting more than 60 products for each upload. And they're automatically built into the Redbubble marketplace, which itself has a huge amount of traffic. They get millions of viewers per month, and it is a pure print-on-demand solution. So when you look at the traffic for Redbubble, all of the traffic is print-on-demand traffic. It's not like Etsy, where Etsy you might be looking at like custom bracelets, or you might be looking at somebody who makes like something that you put on your shoelaces or flower pots or something like that. Etsy's got all kinds of different products. The same thing with Amazon. When you look at the volume of traffic for Amazon, not all of it's print on demand, right? And it's easy to get mixed up with like total traffic versus traffic for the products you're selling. So with Amazon, they sell everything from TVs to, you know, kitchenware, gardening accessories, all kinds of different things, scientific products, you know, paper. People are going to Amazon for all kinds of things, not just print on demand products. Whereas Redbubble, all of the products are print on demand. It's a pure print on demand platform. So everything that all the traffic they're getting is print on demand traffic. And then if you already have Amazon, merch by Amazon, and you already have Redbubble, I'd recommend doing Etsy. I'd recommend doing Zazzle. I'd recommend doing Teespring, although this is where it gets a little bit trickier. So Shawn, you and I have talked about this a number of times on a few of the calls that we've had, but it's something that I because I know we have new listeners, I want to mention it as well. When you look at print on demand, all the print on demand platforms are not the same, and they don't operate the same. They have different audiences. We've talked about that before. But as a seller, there's two approaches. One is organic traffic, right? Which is why people love Merch by Amazon, because it gets lots of free traffic because people are on Amazon shopping already. And the second one is marketed traffic. So that's traffic you're driving to the listings, right? So if you're going to list on Teespring, which is in like the top 5 print on demand platforms by volume, Teespring, I would recommend, is a print on demand platform that's going to be best utilized. You're going to get the most effectiveness if you're sending traffic to it. Whereas Etsy, Amazon, Redbubble, some of the other ones on that list, Zazzle, they have enough traffic on their own that you're going to get organic sales without doing any marketing at all. But if you want to do marketing, right, if you want to drive traffic from either Facebook or Instagram or from Pinterest or from Tumblr or from Twitter or Periscope or YouTube channel or wherever else you're going to drive traffic from, there's lots of places to drive traffic to a listing. If you're going to plan to drive traffic, Teespring is probably one of your better choices because they give you huge margins. They have fast shipping, and they have super rush shipping as well. They have some shipping options that are not available on other pods. They have the ability to bundle. So you can bundle multiple shirts together, or you can bundle like a shirt with another item. You can also offer coupons. So if you want to run a sale, or if you want to have a timed contest, or if you want to have like a special event and get things shipped to that event in bulk, like a concert or something like that, Teespring is a great option for that. Whereas some of those other pods, I wouldn't necessarily recommend marketing in the same way that I would for Teespring. If you're going to market, Teespring's fantastic. I mean, Teespring's gone through a lot of changes as well. So I don't know if you want me to talk about some of those changes or not, but what should we talk about next, Shawn?
Probably not. You know, one of the, obviously, I can't remember, but one thing I want to bring up is if nobody's sold on any other print-on-demand sites, when you sell on Amazon, it's pretty, you know, complicated to get those, you know, listings exactly how they want it. You know, all the dimensions have to be exactly right, and, you know, everything that goes along with that. But with most of the other pods, you can just upload your files you've already created, you know, for Amazon without, you know, tweaking it to their specific formats and, you know, all that stuff. So usually you can just upload those same files. You know, you're not going to have to do a lot of work, you know, let's say, to get them over to those other pods like you would, you know, if you made stuff for one of the pod sites and then wanted to get on Amazon, you're probably going to have to work on that picture or that image before you can.
Yeah. So we might as well get specific, guys. So if you're going to upload to Merch by Amazon, they're looking for a specific file type. It's got to be .png, right? It should have a transparent background on it. The file size itself should be less than 25 megabytes. And the dimensions from side to side should be 4,500, and from top to bottom, 5,400. So 4,500 this way, 5400 this way, .png, less than 25 megabytes. Preferred resolution of the actual image, the .png image, should be 300 dpi or higher. If you've got those images already for Merch by Amazon, you can use those on virtually all of the print-on-demand platforms that we've mentioned, like all of them. So whether you're listing on Amazon Seller Central, Redbubble, Sunfrog, Shopify store, TeePublic, Teespring, Cheatship, Spreadshirt, Cafe Press, Zazzle, any of those print-on-demand platforms, they're going to accept that PNG file that's 4500 by 5400. But like Shawn said, if you're uploading JPEGs or if you're uploading EPFs or PNGs or PDFs in different file sizes, a lot of the print-on-demand platforms will accept other types of files, and they'll accept them in different dimensions. And some of that makes sense. Let's say if you're making a design for a mug, and the mug is round, just like a mug would be. And if you stretch out that image like this, it's going to be quite long, right? So 5400, 4500 across by 5400 top to bottom is not necessarily going to be the ideal size for a mug. It'll work, and you can do that. You can put it on your mug. But if you want to make a design specifically for the mug that really looks spectacular on a mug, you're probably going to want something that's like a wider dimension and not quite as tall, right? Because it's going to wrap around the mug. So other print-on-demand platforms do accept additional file types and additional file sizes. I go quite into depth in that into the book in terms of what their optimal file sizes are. But you can use your 4500 by 5400 images for Merch by Amazon on virtually all of those print-on-demand platforms. In terms of like things that have changed since the last printing of the book, which is the version 6, there's some new software that's come out. Should I talk about that, Shawn?
You can.
Okay, so there's some software that's come out since the 6th edition of the World Merch in the World of Print on Demand, the book, that's going to be in the 7th edition, and I'm going to go into it quite in depth in that because the amount of automation that's available now is kind of unprecedented in terms of print on demand, generally speaking. It's something that people have been asking for literally decades. Like if you go back into search chats and groups and people asking requests to print on demand, one of the big requests is, can I do bulk uploads? Can I automate my uploads? Up until a year ago or so, that was definitely just not the case. You could kind of try to do it through something like iMacros, which is available, and it's been available for a long time. But there's 3 pieces of software that I want to mention on the call. For full disclosure, yeah, I am an affiliate on all 3 of these, but none of them would I make any money from right now, so I'm just going to tell you what they are. One of them is Printzy. So Printzy allows you to do bulk automations into Printful. And then once they're in Printful, you can push them out to any of the marketplaces that you have connected to your Printful store. So whether it's Etsy, or whether it's Amazon, or whether it's Ticktail, or whether it's StoreMV, or even ShipStation, which then can be further connected to like eBay. It can be connected to Walmart.com. It can be connected to Yahoo Shopping. All of that can be pushed through Printful, and you can bulk upload, not just getting the images into Printful, but also creating listings. So it gives you the images, the pricing, the product selection, the title, the description. It builds the entire listing for each of those design uploads, and it does that automatically in bulk. So you can upload like 1,000 images and have the entire listing built for 1,000 images like in one day. So that's called Printzy. The cost on that, I believe, is I think it's $14.99. Originally it was $9.99, and it went up to $14.99. If you were to compare that to other products, it should be priced at more like maybe $149.99. It's really valuable software. Like, it's unbelievable.
Definitely.
So that's Printzy. And then there's OrbitKit. OrbitKit is kind of available on limited supply. So when they have a webinar that's available, it's currently not available, but OrbitKit allows you, it's a similar idea, except it allows you to upload to multiple different print-on-demand platforms. So you can upload into Teespring, Redbubble, Cafe Press, and a number of other ones. I think there's 6 different print-on-demand platforms that OrbitKit allows you to upload onto. And then there's single upload, which is very similar to OrbitKit. How they do the uploading and how they are connected to the print-on-demand platforms is significantly different between those two, but in terms of the concept, they're pretty much similar. So single upload, it also allows you to grab like a bulk number of designs and upload them simultaneously into multiple print-on-demand platforms. So with single upload, you can upload to Redbubble, to Teespring, and to a number of different print-on-demand platforms. I think it's about 5 or 6 different ones as well. I'd have to check the specifics right now because I'm not just looking at it at the moment. But single upload and OrbitKit both allow you to go to multiple print-on-demand platforms, whereas Printsy allows you to upload into Printful, and then from Printful, you can push it out to your marketplaces that you're selling on. So those 3 pieces of software, I think, are really powerful in terms of what they allow you to do. Merch Titans is also working on a multiple bulk automated upload software solution. It's like pre-beta right now, so they're looking for beta testers. But if you've ever wanted to upload 1,000 designs at once, as opposed to one design at a time 1,000 times, the amount of time that you can save is incredible, right? And I know, Shawn, you work with virtual assistants. I mean, are you paying people to upload to your different print-on-demand platforms for you?
Yeah. I mean, somebody uploads them.
And are you using many of those software to like bulk automate and push up like 500 or 1,000 designs at once?
I mean, we haven't. I mean, I don't sell, I don't upload thousands of designs a day, like some sellers are.
But you can. So that's the point. So these are solutions that were not available 6 months ago. So 6 months ago, you could not use Printsy, you could not use OrbitKit, you could not use single upload, but today you can. And the difference is if I've got, let's say I have 20 designs, right? And on those 20 designs, I want to upload them to 20 platforms, 20 print-on-demand platforms. With those 3 pieces of software, you can do that every day. So for each design you have 20 platforms, not including variations. Let's assume that each design had 5 variations. So on a shirt, that would be like small, medium, large, extra large, 2 times extra large, right? So that would be 2,000 listings at least that you would have from 20 designs. And you could do that easily per day, right? And if you had 100, it would be 5 times that. So it would be 5 times 2,000. So that would be 10,000. So if you wanted to have 10,000 listings uploaded every day, like 7 days a week, you could load that many listings using this bulk automated software. So for me, I think it's a game changer. I think there's very few people as a percentage of the whole number of people using print on demand that are using this software. There's a few dozen people using OrbitKits. I don't know if it's even more than 100 yet, but there's dozens of people using OrbitKit. Printsy, I think there's even more people using. And single upload is relatively new. The beta is on right now. So I don't know how many people signed up for it, but it's going to be dozens, probably less than 500 people total. So out of all the sellers that are selling on print on demand, which is in excess of 200,000 sellers, you're looking at less than 500 people on each of those 3 pieces of software. So if you're not using it and you want to upload a lot more in bulk using automation, you can, right? People are doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be huge, and we're going to look into, obviously scaling it up. It's just, I mean, most people are selling on Amazon FBA and doing merch. So, expanding into a lot more, and we do sell on, several different platforms. But, I have somebody I pay, and like, if I, with us, I always have to think, if I automate this process, like, am I going to fire somebody, to...
you put them to work doing something more productive, probably, right?
So I'm always thinking about, I can automate these things, but now, I have literally dozens of VAs or remote workers that work for me. So I'm always kind of leery of doing like that kind of job. And usually it takes time and we end up doing it. But, now instead of uploading dozens of things, if we get to upload hundreds of designs,
And it's just scale, right? It's just doing the same thing, just faster. So again, very few people are using those software, but it is something that's available right now. People don't have to wait for it. It's currently available. So Bud is asking, for all future updates included, do we buy the book again for future updates? Okay, so if you purchase the Gumroad book, which is, again, merch in the world of print on demand, there's a Gumroad link in the chat. There's probably going to be one on the replay as well. I give you unlimited updates. So every time there's an update, you get it for free, for life, forever. So every time I update the book, you get that for free. It's currently on the 6th edition. And so when the 7th edition comes up, everybody will get that. It'll be pushed out onto Gumroad. And everybody gets the next update for free. It just shows up in your Gumroad library. So if you haven't used Gumroad before, when you buy a product on Gumroad, it shows in your account on your Gumroad library. And then if I update the product, so in this case, the book, it automatically pushes the updated version into your Gumroad library. And then from there, if somebody wants to use that on Kindle, or if they want to use it in iBooks or whatever your favorite e-reader is, or whatever platform it is, you can email that PDF into your Kindle email address and read it on a Kindle device. You can read it on a Kindle Fire. You can have it on your cell phone or your tablet, on your iPad through iBooks. You just email the PDF into iBooks, and it's available for reading there as well. So I hope that answers your question. T-Rex. So T-Rex I'm familiar with, but I haven't done a lot of research into it. It's not one of the platforms that's in the book. T-Rex is not there. And the other one is Printech. So Printech is another interesting solution that I'm in the middle of looking into further. Printech is, or Printex, I guess you can call it. Printex allows you to do custom listings on Amazon Custom. And then from there, those are fulfilled through print on demand. So as a solution, it's quite unique and it's very interesting to me. It's not one of the ones that I use. I'm currently on 21 different print on demand platforms, and I'm not using T-Rex right now, and I'm not using Printex, although Printex is very interesting to me, so I might hook that up soon. I just found it very intrigued since it goes into Amazon Seller Central and Etsy. Yeah, well, if you use Printful for free, there's no monthly fee for Printful, and you could be selling on both Amazon Seller Central and on Etsy through Printful as well. So with Printex, there is a monthly fee that you're going to pay. It's probably worth paying the monthly fee because the cost per item is a little bit lower than some of the other ones. And T-Rex is a whole other animal. It's like a whole ecosystem. So it's, in terms of complexity, it's quite complex in terms of what's happening, but it's not one that I've gone into depth in. So it's a great questions, by the way, Lance. So I appreciate those.
What's your favorite pod?
It depends on what for. So for straight sales volume, for each upload, Merch by Amazon is still the top seller for each individual design that I'm uploading. In terms of the process and the ease of use and the simplify, in terms of pressure that I'm feeling from the print on demand to sort of comply with their standards and listings and stuff like that, I really appreciate Redbubble. I mean, I upload one design and I'm on close to 100 products. If it's a mature product, so if it has swearing or blood or guns or whatever, I just click on the mature button. So I can market to adult audiences if I want to. That's fine. Redbubble also gives you things like collections. So for example, for Mother's Day, I put up, I think 187 Mother's Day shirts, and I put them all into one collection. So if somebody clicked on one of those shirts, they're going to see the collection for all of them. That's something that I can't currently do with Merch by Amazon that I wish I could do, but at the moment, I can't. I can get close to that. I can put them all into one brand. So that's what I did for Merch by Amazon. I put them on one brand. But with Redbubble, I can have one brand and I can have multiple collections. So if I want to have a holiday collection for each of the holidays, whether it's Halloween or St. Patrick's Day or Valentine's Day or Mother's Day, Father's Day, just have a different collection for each of those and all be under one account. But for me, I like Redbubble a lot. If I look at just the pure pod in terms of uploading, TeePublic for me is probably the easiest to upload to. Redbubble is right up there as well, but TeePublic I found is even easier than Redbubble. So I upload into TeePublic, and I find I don't have to make as many adjustments. Whereas with Redbubble, I upload once, and I do get all those products, but I find to myself, I'm always changing the colors and recentering things and resizing things, which takes a little bit longer per listing. But TeePublic, you just upload it and it's there. Yeah, Society 6, somebody mentioned in the comments, Brian Lehman. So I like Society 6, particularly for their blog content. And that's something that I don't often talk about on these calls is I'm on 21 different print-on-demand platforms, and I've subscribed to all of their blogs, and I get all of their email drip marketing on every single one of them. So every time they have a sale, every time they have a new product, every time they have a new technology, or if they have a new video that comes out, I'm subscribed to all of them. So I get to see all of these different things coming from all these different pods. And with that breadth comes kind of like a sense of what's happening, right? So for example, Society 6, they have been adding and ramping up the number of products that they have, right? So they've got things like wallpaper, which they've added, right? Not a lot of print-on-demand platforms like Redbubble. I don't think they have wallpaper yet, or wall murals you can get, for example, on Society 6. So immediately I wouldn't think of myself, man, I'm dying for wall murals, right? But when you look at the use case for them, the wallpaper and the murals that they have are reusable and they're non-permanent. So the use case would be, for example, people that are in university or college, they go off to college, they've got a dorm room. You can wallpaper or mural the entire room, top to bottom, with whatever pattern or design or shapes or design that you want. And then at the end of the year, you can just peel it off the wall, roll it up with you, and take it on to another room or going back home or whatever, and it leaves the wall intact, right? So, Shawn, is that wallpaper on the wall next to you there?
Yeah, the one side one is.
All right, so it adds some warmth and some interest to a room, right? It makes the room more interesting instead of just a plain wall. But imagine getting print-on-demand wallpaper that you can reuse. So you can put it up, and then if you wanted to take it down every season and put up a new theme, right? People are into home decorating and things like that. They can do that. Or if there's a birthday or a special event, or you've got guests coming and you want to deck out a room, make it really special for your guests, you can do that. And then when they go, if you want to bring it back to whatever you normally like to have in that room, you just peel it off the wall. It's reusable wallpaper, right? Yeah, they have things like shower curtains. Print on demand, everybody knows about T-shirts, right? And T-shirts are on almost all of the print on demand because it's kind of like the base core product that they start with, right? But one of the things I like about going beyond Merch by Amazon and print on demand is that the T-shirts availability is enormous, right? Like right now I'm wearing, this is going to be a Port & Company T-shirt because it was from Merch by Amazon, the standard T-shirt. But if I wanted to do a Next Level T-shirt, or if I wanted to do a Fruit of the Loom T-shirt, or if I wanted to do Hanes, or if I wanted to do, I think I mentioned Next Level, Royal Apparel, for example, they have all organic shirts, right? If you want to do organic shirts for people who like to wear organic clothing or dye-free clothing or just holistic eco type clothing, Royal Apparel is a brand that offers that. And that's available through Printora, right?
Right. A lot of people are actually allergic to, commercial cotton, and that's why they need the organic. The organic cotton.
And it comes down to the fiber, right? So regular cotton, it's going to be used, it has pesticides and things that some people are sensitive to. So by using that organic cotton, that's giving buyers who cannot buy regular cotton shirts the option to buy clothing for them, right? Zazzle also offers some organic cotton shirts as well, which is kind of interesting. So one of the big things that I see that's been happening in 2018, and I see that going on even further, is integrations, right? So connecting something like Printful to multiple marketplaces, it allows you to have one design on many marketplaces, right? And if there's any place that I've seen the most integrations on, and the pace of integrations is just going through the roof, that's Shopify. So if you're thinking about integrating your workflow or your work process and you want to be on multiple marketplaces, so let's say you want to sell on Amazon.com and Etsy and Walmart and eBay and StoreMD and etc., a whole bunch of different platforms, marketplaces that have huge audiences, so that have lots of people going there to buy. I can't over recommend Shopify for that solution, right? With Shopify, not only can you connect your Shopify store to multiple marketplaces, which gives you huge reach, but on the other side, you can connect Shopify to multiple fulfillment companies, multiple print-on-demand fulfillment companies, right? So that means you can have multiple factories. The factories can be worldwide, right? So instead of just producing in the US or just producing in Canada or just producing in Europe, you can produce in all those places, right? Have access to products and companies that can produce the products globally. That means you can produce them in Australia, you can produce them in Hong Kong, you can produce them in the US, throughout the US, in multiple different states. You can produce them in Canada, you can produce them in Europe, right? You can produce them all over the whole world. What that does is it reduces the amount of time between the order and the shirt showing up at somebody's house, right? That's the benefit of having multiple production facilities. So a good example of this, I did a blog, I have a Facebook group about it. We should probably mention this. So I've got a Facebook group. It's called Merch by Amazon for top sellers, newbies, and pros. And in that, I did a post just today on Fine Art America. So Fine Art America, if you're listening carefully to the list of print-on-demand plots that I read off earlier that were in order of highest to lowest monthly traffic, Fine Art America now has 16 different manufacturing locations, and each of the manufacturing locations delivers worldwide, right? So if you get a product in the US, it's probably going to be produced in the US and sent to you in the US, right? But if you get a product, let's say in Canada, maybe it's printed in Canada and sent to you there. Or if that product's not available in the Canadian print location, maybe it's printed in the US and shipped to Canada, right? But by having multiple locations, it reduces the amount of time between the order and receiving it at wherever it's being delivered. And all 16 of those locations, all of them ship worldwide from Fine Art America. So that's kind of an interesting thing that I was thinking about this morning when I made that post. And they keep expanding. I think when I wrote it in the book, I think they had 14 locations, and I've added 2 more. So now it's at 16 different locations where they're manufacturing, right? Shawn, I don't know, how are you for time? Like, what do we have here? What else? Do you want to talk about more stuff?
Well, I mean, if everybody's still hanging out, I mean, we can continue to talk. If you want to join my Facebook group, Mastering the Pod, where we talk about all kinds of print-on-demand sites. The links are in the chat. And then we'll email both of our print-on-demand as well with the replay. If there's any questions, there's a few questions in the Q&A we can cover real quick. So how important is the description for merch by Amazon? Some say it's important and some say it isn't.
Okay, so if you're looking for only organic traffic and you're only caring about traffic that is originating from Amazon, the description is not something that's indexed in the search results for Amazon on Amazon.com. However, the description is indexed for organic search. So that means if you're searching from external to Amazon, like through Google or Yahoo or Bing or DuckDuckGo or like any of the search engines that people actually use, most of that's coming from Google, but people do use the other search engines. All of those search results that are organic, they will pick up the description in Merch by Amazon. So I do recommend using the description, even if it's the same information that you've put into the title and the 2 bullet points. The other thing is if you're looking at Merch by Amazon on mobile, so basically if you're shopping on Amazon on a mobile device, the description comes before the title and the bullet points. So if you're not putting anything in the description, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot in terms of both organic traffic and mobile users. So I would recommend definitely filling in the portion that is the description box in a Merch by Amazon listing. Now, some people would say that you're putting yourself at future risk because Amazon will say, hey, all of a sudden we don't like certain words or some things that people are adding to their listings now that's not allowed anymore because they're changing the rules all the time. But I would rather take that risk and bulk change them later than I would not put them in and not get traffic either organically from something like Google or from mobile users that are shopping on Amazon on a mobile device. So that's my thoughts on it. Shawn, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they're all, they just changed the rules again, about putting T-shirts in your descriptions, and you're going to have to go back and change them. But, if you have something generic where you're not, it's not going to be pointed at, that super generic, description that everybody puts in. Everybody knows it's a T-shirt. T-shirt's already, going to come up when you search for it. So there's really no point in, adding extra words that are already there. And if you don't do that, I'm sure there's not going to be many issues. And you don't want to use what everybody else is already doing. If there's thousands of people who put, a word in the description, it negates that word because it's not going to matter anymore because there's going to be, tens of thousands of shirts with that same word in it. And
yeah, be specific and use lots of associated words that are associated with the main keyword that you're trying to target. Like if your target is Halloween and you put Halloween in the shirt, the word Halloween itself is almost completely irrelevant because there are tens of thousands of Halloween shirts, right? And on Amazon, there's tens of thousands of not shirts that also have the word Halloween in it. So putting the word Halloween, although it might make you feel warm and fuzzy inside, is not going to help you getting found on Amazon. Just considering all of the items that have the word Halloween in them, right? It just doesn't really matter. It's super saturated, right? So I think we've answered that question. Is there other questions in the Q&A?
How do you advertise or market and promote your listings on Amazon now that AMS has been shut down?
Okay, so I'm going to talk about 3 different ways you can do this. So AMS has only been shut down for people that are using Vendor Express. You can still use Vendor Central. So if you are an Amazon vendor, you can still use AMS and you can still direct traffic to it. So for some people that were using it, it's been shut down through Vendor Express. Other people using Vendor Central, you can still use AMS. So that is one answer. Another answer is there are alternatives to using AMS. If you want to drive traffic to an existing listing on Amazon, I really recommend connecting it to an external pod through Seller Central, because that opens up PPC, right? A pay-per-click. And pay-per-click is effectively allowing you to drive traffic to your listing on Amazon.com or on other Amazon marketplaces if you're connected that way anyways. So not only do you get more profit, you get more selection, you get worldwide delivery, you get faster production, you get access to more products. Each of the sales can make you a higher commission after tax, but you can also use pay-per-click advertising instead of AMS advertising. So that's one way. And then in terms of places to advertise from, you can, even on a Merch by Amazon listing, you can use Amazon affiliates. It's actually mentioned in the royalty documentation on Merch by Amazon. If you click into the resources page and you're looking at the royalties, the last two lines of that portion of the website for Merch by Amazon, they actually encourage you to use Amazon affiliates. So on apparel, Amazon affiliates, I believe, unless it's changed recently, I believe it's giving you 7% extra. So it's a 7% commission on top of whatever the royalty is you get from Merch by Amazon. Amazon affiliates is going to give you 7% of the sale. And you can actually connect that to an external source. Like people ask about this all the times in the groups. If I have a Shopify store, can I use Amazon affiliates? Not directly, you can't, but there are apps within Shopify that you can connect that are specifically built to drive traffic from Shopify to Amazon affiliate links, which then you can affiliate link to your Merch by Amazon listing. So if you want to drive traffic from Shopify, you can use, I think it's called Outlink. So there's the Outlink app within the Shopify's apps that you can use. And that allows you to drive traffic from a Shopify marketplace store, which then you could drive additional traffic to, and you can actually capture your customers' information on their way through Shopify. So if you're marketing through Instagram or Pinterest or Twitter or Facebook, all of those have pixels that you can capture client data on when you drive it to your Shopify store. And then from Shopify, you can drive them straight into Merch by Amazon through Outlink into Amazon Associates and then into Merch by Amazon. So that's kind of a more complex way to set it up. But again, once it's set up, your average amount that you get back in terms of profit at the end of the day after taxes and everything else is way up. You can retarget those customers that you're driving to traffic to on your Shopify store, so you can get like a higher conversion rate. Plus, you can actually determine on a Merch by Amazon listing how much traffic you've driven. You can't necessarily see organic traffic on it because Merch by Amazon doesn't currently show us that, but you can see all the traffic that you've driven to it. You can kind of gauge how much traffic you're getting versus the converted traffic, and then you can retarget those people through whatever pixels you're using. So not just Facebook pixel, but there's also a Pinterest pixel, there's also a Twitter pixel, there's also Instagram pixel. So you can pixel it right until the cows come home with Shopify, which is one of the things why I think in the next year, many people that are in print on demand are going to really start pairing it up with other platforms. Even WooCommerce or Big Cartel or some of those other marketplaces, they have these features built in, but I haven't seen anything do it the way that Shopify does. It's just so smooth and there's so many options. You can tie in like inventory management and you can tie in like accounting. You can actually track things very specifically. You can track your incoming traffic. You can connect it to automated marketing for you. So I talk about that in the book, like Kit CRM. It's a piece of software. Originally in the first version of the book, that software was $25 a month. Now it's free, right? So Kit CRM, which is a company that was bought by Shopify, is free. It's built into your Shopify account, right? So if you want to use that to drive traffic from Facebook or from Instagram or email retarget people that have already bought your items through your Shopify store, you can use that automated software. It's like using artificial intelligence to do your marketing. It's pretty sick. And it's not the only software that does that as well. The other thing we didn't talk about, Shawn, we didn't talk about Chrome plugins, right? So let's say somebody says, hey, Jacob Topping, I don't like him, or Shawn, I don't like him. I just forget about all this stuff. I'm just going to sell on Merch by Amazon. I just tuned in because I like to listen to new options, right? If you're just using Merch by Amazon, you can still improve the amount of time that you put in versus the result you're getting by using the Chrome plugins, right? And there's many different types of Chrome plugins, right? So some popular ones would be Merch Tools. Merch Tools is a popular plugin you can use to help to make your listing process smoother. There's also Merch Lister Pro, which allows you to kind of semi-automate your listings. So if you're using Merch Lister Pro, you can actually set up like keyboard strokes to allow you to bulk upload designs across many different types of products on Merch by Amazon. Another one is Merch Buddy. So Merch Buddy is a very simple Chrome plugin, but basically if you make one listing for, let's say, a standard shirt and you're planning on putting that onto a sweater or a sweatshirt or a hoodie or a premium shirt, you basically just hit copy and it copies all of the information in there. You click expand tabs, it opens up 5 or 6 tabs at a time. I think it's 5 tabs at a time. So you hit the button once and now you've got 6 tabs open, and then you hit copy and you can go, tab 1, paste, tab 2, paste, tab 3, paste, tab 4, paste, tab 5, paste. And all of a sudden now you have 6 listings in about 5 seconds. It saves you the process of copying and pasting the title, copying and pasting the bullet point, copying and pasting the brand, copying and pasting another bullet point, copying and pasting the other thing. Just Merch Buddy, just hit expand tabs, copy once, and paste it into all the tabs. And you're basically creating 6 listings for the price of 1. It's just a way to automatically help you to do things better, right? Pretty Merch, if you want to see historic sales values for your listings, is a great popular app. You can tell when people take screenshots whether you're using Pretty Merch or not. Pretty Merch basically allows you to see your sales from the beginning. So you can see your cumulative sales for all time. You can also see how many sales you've done per week, and it graphs it. So if you're more visual, it does make your analytics look a lot nicer. And these are all Chrome plugins, right? If you want to go kind of more into listing things faster, T-Lance is another one where basically you can bulk upload, many designs at once into Merch by Amazon, and you still have to manually click submit on each of the tabs. But T-Lance allows you to basically semi-automate uploads into Merch by Amazon, right? And I know there's people, when they hear that, they're like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to violate the terms of service and all this stuff. It's a Chrome plugin, guys. It is just like Pretty Merch. It is just like Merch Tools. It is just like Merch Lister Pro. It is just like Merch Buddy. All of these things are Chrome plugins. In terms of how they interact with Merch by Amazon, they're relatively the same. They input commands on the browser side, just like you are clicking on it with your mouse, except it does it faster because the software is faster than you are. So those are some of the things that you can so the last one, Brian, was T-Lance. And T-Lance is actually built into single upload. So in addition to uploading to multiple print-on-demand platforms, single upload, one of those ones, which is almost fully semi-automated, is Merch by Amazon, which is kind of super popular. I think it's a great solution. T-Lance. Lance, like somebody that was on riding a horse lancing people. What are some other Chrome plugins that you like to use? Shawn, you have some of your own, right? You have a Variation Hunter and
I have Merch Hunter, which is good. It's good after you're selling a merch, I guess. And if you want to promote things, it's a great tool. We don't really promote it too much, but it's a great tool if you want to run ads like Facebook ads. We run a lot of Facebook ads for various things. So it'll let you take any listing with variations if you're selling on Amazon or doing merch. It'll pull out all the variations, and there's actually a lot of variations on every merch shirt. So every color and every size in each design is actually a listing. So the ASIN for the actual listing is called a parent listing, and it doesn't actually have anything attached to it. And then each individual variation is going to be what's called a child listing, and that's the actual listing. They kind of just put it all together, under that umbrella. So sometimes it's kind of hard to get, a specific shirt. And if you send that link, if you ran an ad on, Facebook, for example, it's just going to pull whatever Amazon shows it. It could be a kid-size shirt in yellow, and sometimes it's hard to target that main one without some third-party tools. So, we created that for that. We originally designed it for shoes, but it works with anything that has variations.
Yeah, and I think no conversation around multiple print on demand, especially print merch by Amazon, would be complete without mentioning tools that you can use to look for keywords or to look for opportunities. So Merch Informer, if you're even interested in this whole space, you've probably heard of Merch Informer lots of times, but essentially what it allows you to do is to see the best-selling shirts now and also to see things that are trending. It allows you to see individual sellers that are having designs that are selling a lot. So you can use the features within Merch Informer to kind of view a quick overview or a snapshot of what's happening now. There's also has the Merch Vault built into Merch Informer. So if you want to see what happened like 2 months ago or 3 months ago and see the top 500 listings, you can go to Merch Vault, type in a date. You can see like the top selling shirts on a particular day. That's going to be particularly useful coming up in October because that's when it started. So if you want to see what sells well for like Halloween, you can go look now and start making designs for Halloween based on what sold well last year. So Merch Informer is a great tool. Merch Titans is a good tool as well. It's similar to Merch Informer, but it's a different product. It has slightly different features on it. Both of them are mentioned in the book, Merch in the World of Print on Demand, which we mentioned a few times, but the reason I keep mentioning it is because it has like everything we talked about, and it has lots of stuff we haven't talked about. So if you're looking at making your own designs and when you use a mobile app, there's dozens of mobile apps that you can use, both for iOS and for Android, for iPad and iPhone, for tablets, for desktop. If you want to like make designs in the browser, you can do that as well. We talk about things like Make Merch or Merch Informer Designer, which is relatively new. The Merchinator, which allows you to diversify an existing design by adding variations to it. You can basically upload 10 designs and get out like 1,000 designs on the other side of it. So you can 10x your existing designs. So these are all kinds of different tools and stuff that are mentioned in the book, Merch in the World of Print on Demand. Shawn, are we missing anything? Is there any questions that we haven't answered? Is there any comments in the chat? Do you guys have any other questions that you'd like answered?
Yeah, if you have any other questions, just post them in the chat. If not, we're going to wrap it up. Check out the link to the book. There's tons more information. The bonuses Jacob keeps up with basically every, product and, third-party tools, and that's, part of the bonus package. And, definitely all the pods that you're going to want to look at, are definitely in there. And, all the ways of getting shirts designed, scaling up, and, all that awesome stuff.
Yeah, but there's a whole chapter on automation, which we didn't talk about. But if you wanted to automate 100% of your print-on-demand business, you can, right? Whether it's through virtual assistants or through design services or through like Shawn Mayo Designs. I mean, we kind of touched on it a little bit, right? But you can buy existing designs that are pre-made with including the listing details, right? So you can have like the titles and descriptions and the designs, depending on where you're getting those from. Some people like some services more than they like others, and the price points are all over the place. So some of them are, you get a bunch of designs for one price. Other ones you get individual designs, depending on where you look. So the book covers that as well. There's also design services. Like myself, I hardly design things for my account anymore. I get most of them done through Design Pickle and also through Penji. I use both. There's kind of people talk about, oh, I'm not sure which one's the better one. I'm like, well, I use both, and they're both really good for what they do. The way I look at it is Design Pickle is super consistent, and they can do high volume designs that are quality designs just very consistently, right? It's a very consistent process that they have. Penji is a newer company, and they've been modifying how they do things. They just recently did an announcement like this week where they took out the approved stage of their approval process. Before you had to type in the word approved on every design to approve it. Now, once it's done, you just go ahead and download it. You don't have to type in approve every time. So like Shawn said, I do try to keep up on all these different things. I spend a ridiculous amount of time doing research on all the different pods. I also I read all of the blog posts pretty much on all of the pods that I'm on, which is, again, there's like 21 different print-on-demand solutions that I'm using right now, like whether it's marketplaces or integrations or whatever. So I read through all of those as well to try and keep up to date. And people reach out to me, right? People reach out to Shawn too. Like when you have a group that has lots of people in it, right? Like the Podmaster group that Shawn's got a link there to, people will reach out to Shawn with new products before they're even available, right? And I get that all the time. Like my groups now is about, it's just under 6,000 people. And so people are constantly asking me to evaluate new products, new services, to like try out beta things. I see some of the software that's out now, I've been looking at since like January, February, right? And it's just releasing like in the last month or two. So there are certain products and technologies and systems and things that sometimes, for whatever reason, I get early access to, or programs that I'm involved with, or different things. And so I'm evaluating those on a constant basis, right? Like I see a lot of stuff before it comes out. And I can tell you guys that, you know, these bulk automated softwares that are coming out now and the ones that are coming up, they're just mind-blowing. And I'll give people a golden tip here, okay? This is something that I think is going to happen. I can't guarantee it because I can't predict the future, but I very much believe that Merch by Amazon is going to launch international shipping or international availability within the next, I would say within the next 4 months. So before the end of the fourth quarter, I think we're going to see international shipping on Merch by Amazon. I haven't signed an NDA on that, so I can't guarantee it, but that's what I believe is going to happen. So if you watched for the last hour and a half and you're wondering about international shipping for Merch by Amazon, I think you're going to see it this year. And I think it'll probably be in Q3. That's my guess. Shawn, any golden nuggets or tidbits or things that you think we should mention that we didn't talk about?
No, I think that covers it. Everybody get the book, you know, learn to automate your processes so you can grow to more print-on-demand platforms. You know, you're not going to sell maybe not as much as merch, obviously, because nobody has, you know, the reach that Amazon does, but you're definitely going to be able to make, you know, good money. If you're doing great on merch or if you're just starting out, and especially if you have more time, you know, than money, you can definitely start raising your income because, you know, you already have the designs. You can upload those to all the other pod sites and not spend any more money if you're having somebody design it or whatever you have going on. You can put it on all those sites, and when you start to make money, you know, all the resources are there to grow that into lots more, you know, automation. So yeah, you don't have to be doing all of that yourself, and you can figure out more ways to make, you know, to make even more money.
Kaylee asked a question in the Q&A. She says, how will international shipping be affected by needing to do international trademark checking? So Kaylee, I guess we're going to have to wait and hear from Merch by Amazon. They're going to have some specific terms of service on that if they do go international, which I believe they will. I haven't heard from anybody how they plan on doing that. I know that trademarks are country specific, but most of the trademark offices comply with WIPO, which is the World International Intellectual Property Organization. So trademarks fall under WIPO's kind of jurisdiction internationally. But individually, the countries do regulate their own trademarks and copyright and other intellectual property like trade secrets, and there's other types that we don't usually talk about too much with design, but I don't know how that's going to work, to be honest. I don't know what's going to happen internationally, because something that's trademarked in the US, if they open it up to international shipping with more than one country, if it's just shipping from the US, then I guess it's a US-based product, and so you could use the USPTO. But if they're manufacturing it and shipping it from, let's say, the UK or from Germany or from Canada or from somewhere else, I'm not sure what the legal implications are. I'm not even going to speculate, but to be honest, I don't know how they're going to deal with that. They might choose to just ship it from the US, in which case they can say it's, you know, product sourced from the America and shipping elsewhere. So then they just use USPTO. But if they're manufacturing it also internationally, then I'm not really sure how they're going to deal with international trademark law. No idea. It's a good question. And like I said, like I don't know the answer to every question, and Shawn doesn't know the answer to every question. There's some questions that we can only speculate on, right?
I'm pretty sure that's why they haven't, you know, over however many years it's been 2 or more years now that merch has been around, that they're not, selling internationally, and they obviously don't even ship internationally. I mean, with what Amazon already has in place, it wouldn't be any problem to ship those designs internationally. I mean, they do it, all day long, obviously. So there's definitely a big reason that's probably has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I think that collab, which we didn't talk about, so merch collab, collab-merch.amazon.com or collab.amazon.com. That is something that Amazon has been working on behind the scenes for a long, long time. It is launched right now, so if you're not part of collab, I recommend you apply for it. It allows you to make designs for existing influencers or brands that exist on Merch by Amazon. And it kind of operates as like a parallel account to your Amazon account. Technically, they're both being produced by Merch by Amazon, but collab-merch.amazon.com is kind of a separate thing. And one of the interesting things that they mentioned in Las Vegas, when I was at the International Licensing Expo in Las Vegas this year, where I saw the official announcement of collab from the head people at Amazon that announced it, is that there's 3 different applications. There's one for designers, which we would consider ourselves designers, making designs for Merch by Amazon. But there's 2 other categories. One is influencers, right? So if you have over a certain threshold of people that are having followers, they have like a predefined definition of what's an influencer or what a big brand is. But then they also have manufacturers. That's the 3rd one. And if Merch by Amazon opens up manufacturing to third-party manufacturers, which it looks like collab is opening the door for that, you could see dramatic changes to Merch by Amazon if they start partnering with third-party marketplaces or not marketplaces, but third-party manufacturers, like Redbubble, for example. Redbubble doesn't make any of their own stuff, right? They have all third-party manufacturers. Same thing with Fine Art America. Fine Art America doesn't make any of their own stuff. They have manufacturers they've partnered with in 16 different locations, right? So if Merch by Amazon starts to implement the third-party manufacturing model into Merch by Amazon, we could see dramatic changes to the entire program, both international shipping, international production, more products. There's all kinds of things that could happen if they do that. And whether they're doing that right now or not, I don't know. But they do have an application where if you're a manufacturer, you can apply under collab. And so it suggests that they're looking at it, right? The other thing is, and this is probably mentioned in the groups from time to time, but if you're listening to this call, hopefully this is offering a lot of value for you guys. It is a free call, right? So people aren't paying for this. But if you want to see products that may come to Merch by Amazon in the future, you can look at Woot. So WOOT, Woot. And Woot is an Amazon-owned company that Amazon bought. And the Woot factory is the same factory as the Merch by Amazon factory. It's the same building, right? So inside the same building, you have Woot, which operates Woot.shirt, and also Merch by Amazon, right? So before you saw pop sockets available on Merch by Amazon, and before it was available on some of the brands on Merch by Amazon, you did see it on Woot before that, right? And Woot has other products, right? They have like pillows, they have calendars, they have clocks, they have some other products that's available through Woot right now. So whether those make it all the way to Merch by Amazon or not, I don't know. But if you want to see what's coming to Merch by Amazon, you can look at large brands, right? Like Disney or Marvel or different big accounts like Shane Dawson, for example. But you can also look even before that, just look at what Woot is putting out. So through Woot.shirt or just through Woot.com. So products that they don't resell, but they actually make some of those products, right? Okay.
We're going to end it with that. Buy the book. Link's right there. We'll email all this stuff out to you guys probably by the morning as soon as it gets done processing. And we'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks for bringing me on, Shawn. I really